Well, when I finished training at Smith College, a bunch of us were sent to Washington. They said, does anybody know German? And I said, I took 2 years of it in high school, but I was the only one who raised my hand. So I was sent off to a section called Op 20G. We were to break the code that they used with the Enigma machine, which was just such a complicated machine. It could not be broken manually. We hoped we could decide what it said and then run it through the machine backward in order to get the right settings on the machine to do the rest of the code for the day. It's hard to believe that now you can put everything in a ring on your finger that they had in this mammoth machine. But they had banks of these machines. So all the sections were doing this, not just the German section. My roommate was in the Japanese section. But I never got to talk to her about it. Secrecy was very high in those days. It was everything was secret. Nobody asked anybody what they did. And when they asked me what I did, I just told them I had a desk job, and they would nod, and that was the end of that, because nobody was supposed to talk about anything. I was so pleased that I had such a fascinating job, and I loved it, of course. Very frustrating when you think you have something and you don't. And meanwhile, you don't know where the submarines have gone. We had one of those huge maps that tracked all the ships, vessels, anything at sea. And the last time we had seen the submarines would have been 2 days ago, and we don't know where they've gone after that, unfortunately. And it was very frustrating. But here was this one little message, the same length, the same time every day. Changed the wording. They didn't change the time. They didn't change anything except the day. It was a message to the sub skippers of the weather in the Bay of Biscay. And so every night at 7:30 our time, it was midnight their time, they were getting the weather report for the next day. And that was it. And the war was over within 2 weeks, because then we could read their message every day. This came back every night, the same thing. I have no idea whether the Germans were down so low that they picked some kid to run this message who didn't know anything about coding, or I never found out anything about it at all. But that was the end of the war in Europe. But anyway, I came back home again, and it was difficult, because once you've done something really fascinating, it's pretty hard to get back into the routine of scrubbing floors and cooking meals and so on. And women at that point, of course, were not working. They just didn't. Yeah. But they had a taste of it during the war, and I'm sure that was a big impetus to get women into the workforce. So it was an odd time, though, because it was hard to be demeaning. I felt it was demeaning to have to do housework, and when I knew I was capable of something else. But I almost hate to take credit for even having been in the service, because it was so to my benefit to be there, and I enjoyed it.